out of the three, right? Who had the best run when it was their time? Because you can't say none of them ran accordingly. Because clearly, Cash Money, well, not Cash Money, but No Limit was doing their thing prior to. You kind of had Death Row and Bad Boy running at the same time, but you also had Bad Boy still kind of going before that, and understanding lineup, the way that the consistency behind it. Because again, you can sit there and say clearly, everybody had their superstar. If you want to talk about No Limit, you kind of had the Mystical. And that sorry ass rapper that we talked about last week that we won't bring his name up. Everybody had a weakling, but everybody had their superstar. Bad Boy, you had Biggie, so Death Row had Pac. But what I'm saying is the run of what everybody else brought to the table to make that label run. Who had the best run? Take some time.
I already know it's Death Row. You got like Death Row, The Chronic, and Doggy Style. If you were old enough, was played everywhere, no matter where you lived. They was banging in Little Rock, Arkansas. They was cranking in Maryland, Chicago, DC, California, of course. Like, I don't think anybody could touch Death Row from 92 to 94. Not even Bad Boy. Like, and honestly, to this day, I still think Death Row Records, the top, you know what I'm saying, ain't nothing but a G thing. A couple of those singles off Doggy Style are still bigger records than anything any of those other labels put out.
During the time, it was definitely crazy. Like, it was pretty much unprecedented. But I mean, between the four of us, we can think back to this point in time, right? Like, the younger kids, they don't even know what No Limit Records is, except for the fact that it's a very popular thing for rappers now to rap about. Like, I mention a Tank, got to mention No Limit. Like, if you're a soldier, you got to mention No Limit. Like, so there is a legacy there, I think, but it's not. I don't think No Limit is looked back on in the same way, and maybe it's because they're from the South. Like, it might just be that simple. When you think about the legacies of Death Row and Bad Boy, like today, I think that because there's still people that are gonna hang heavy on just Biggie and Pac themselves. But I think that, I mean, to talk about who's probably the most relevant now, it's not quite the same, but Uncle Snoop is still like, he's still like the dude. You know what I mean?
He's on two of those record labels at the bottom.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. Like,
all right. So this is my question: are we sticking to these three, right, in their run? We're not bringing nobody else into this.
No, don't.
Okay. And then we going hit for hit, or we just going totality? I mean, Death Row's lineup was huge. But then, like, you got to think about Bad Boy had a huge lineup too. I mean, and Bad Boy had a huge run, and they had the Biggie run, but then they had the Mace run after that. Then after that, end up having, like, he had the R&B run too. I mean, with some of his artists, hell, even. And then I mean, I'm at this point, I'm sticking between Bad Boy and Death Row, because No Limit, to me, they had content. They put out a lot of content, but not all of it. There's no classics. There's not enough classics within that record label. And I didn't say they didn't have classics. There's not enough classics to go between Bad Boy and Death Row.
They don't have an All Eyes on Me, a Chronic, or a Doggy Style.
Exactly. Or even they don't even have a
See,
what's the No Way Out?
No, your first of all, your Mr. Ice Cream Man is their head single to whatever else you put up with everybody else. That's their number one. That song can be played right now, and the generation that's on this podcast is definitely still gonna hit as if it's the first time you heard that song, and grunt with the nigga when he grunts. Like, whereas the East, like I said, Bad Boy was hanging off of, we got Biggie. Then when something happened, it was like, who was next to step in line? Like,
Okay.
Don't hit me with the Mace thing, because I'll definitely.
But hold on, I mean, let's not forget Mace wrote more problems. He wrote all about the Benjamins, hits, right? But that's the question.
Okay, but
So
that's
we're specifically talking about Death Row, right? Death Row. Dr. Dre only put out one album on Death Row, The Chronic, right? Greatest album, right? Only had one album on there. How many albums did Pac put out on Death Row before he passed? All Eyes on Me,
right?
and Machiavelli, right? Okay. Snoop probably has the longer catalog on Death Row, Doggy Style, Dogfather. I don't know what came after Dogfather, but then it was the No Limit run, right? But so if we're going off of specifics, like what was assigned to that label at the time? So Pac only gave you 2 albums, and you could tell me All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli are 2 of Pac's greatest albums?
Facts.
Even over Me Against the World? I'm asking you.
Yeah, I love Me Against the World, but I still think All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli are
okay.
Period.
It's my asking. Okay.
For me, I think one of the things that kind of pushes it over for Death Row is that back early on, like hip hop and rap was looked almost strictly as an East Coast thing. It was looked strictly as like a New York thing, right? So the fact that this record label brought so much attention to the West Coast and was like, yo, they got cats out here that are laying it down too, like I think that's something that I think it, for me at least, kind of pushes it in their favor because, they literally opened the eyes of so many people to just the fact that this was even going on.